Just heading to the train station here at Partick. That's the bus station there, and the subway is below. So I'm heading to Helensburgh, which is down the north side of the Clyde. Might be about 40 minutes or so. So let's go and get my ticket and then we'll get on the train. Okay, so just in perfect time to get on board. We're going to Helensburgh Central. Yeah, let's see how this goes. We're out of use.
This is Partick. This train is for Helensburgh Central. The next stop is Pineland.
Okay, so we're heading to Helensburgh Central. And it was £8.20 return, which is excellent value. So this is the new station, Partick. The original station is just along the tracks here, and that was Partick Hill, in which my model is based. I'm just crossing over Dumbarton Road, and this would be the original station right here. And there were sidings in there, and coal merchants and a variety of other industries.
Hospitals.
Comfortable seats,
The
and they've got power outlets, as you can see. That's terrific. And we're just pulling into Hindland Station. So the next stop is Dalmuir. So that means it's taken a different route. Rather than go through Anniesland and Westerton, Drumchapel, etc. So it's turning a little bit to the south. Passing through Jordan Hill, crossing over Crow Road. So we're heading west along the north side of the River Clyde, out into the suburbs, towards Dumbarton. Now there's a nice setup there. Titan crane at John Brown Shipyard. You can go up to the top of that. It's like a little small museum and observation deck. I heard it had been closed for a while, not really sure. I'll maybe try and investigate that. We're now in Dalmuir. This is a very busy line going all the way up and down the Clyde, and it was the first line in the north side of the city to be electrified, and it had the famous blue train with a lovely blue and white livery, a 303, and it's really unfortunate that a model was not made of it. Anyway, those are the brakes, and here you see some tenement buildings, typical in the west of Scotland. And And there's the Erskine Bridge. It takes you over to the south side of the river, and Glasgow Airport. The QE2 actually got under there on its and it left John Brown Shipyard. And I think this is Bowling, the town of Bowling. A couple of sunken ships there. And a pleasure boat coming in there to pick up train passengers and take them down the river, but those days are gone now from this location. Not sure what this is for, but quite an extensive excavation here. Might be a new change in the water flow. And that's the River Clyde. Dumbarton Rock behind the trees. Maybe get a better shot of it somewhere round about here.
We are now approaching Dumbarton East. Please mind the gap when alighting from this train.
There's a castle up on the top there, and it was a lookout for raiding Vikings.
This is Dumbarton East. This train is for Helensburgh Central. Next stop is Dumbarton Central. Approaching Dumbarton Central. Please mind the gap when alighting from this train.
Nice canopy roof here. The original equipment with the original probably Caledonian Railway colours.
This is Dumbarton Central. This train is for Helensburgh Central. The next stop is Coradia.
Now it says here, Denny Tank Exhibition. That is where they tested the ship models and how they would perform in various sea conditions. And there's a ship in there. Now the Luftwaffe came over those hills during the Second World War and bombed around here. They were after the shipyards, and they destroyed part of the town of Clydebank with a great loss of life. But the locals got used to it, so they would go up into the hills and set fires knowing that the Germans were coming over. And the Germans, Luftwaffe, thought, oh, that's probably Clydebank on fire, so they would bomb the hills instead of the city. That was quick thinking.
We are now approaching Coradia. Please mind the gap when alighting from this train.
Towns on the other side of the river there, that would be Greenock. Looks like a large ship, maybe a liner is stopped in there. The liners no longer go up into the city. If you arrive over here on a ship, you would need to take the train or bus into the centre of this, Glasgow. There are two names on the post: welcome to Cardross, and then Cardarrons. That's the old Scots Gaelic language used in all the stations throughout Scotland. Now we would come down here on the odd occasion and you could get mussels and whelks on the seashore, and you'd find people out with a pail picking them, take them home and boil them in vinegar. Ship out there in the distance, might be waiting on the pilot. This was another stop, kind of a day trip out from the city, and also you know, paddle steamers and the like would stop there and pick passengers up, take them over to the other side or to one of the other islands just offshore.
We are now approaching Helensburgh Central. Please mind the gap when alighting from this train.
Great canopy here. It's a lovely little station.
This is Helensburgh Central.
Yeah, look at this. Terrific and well maintained in its original structure. So I'm going to meet a lifelong family friend. We'll catch up a little bit later. So we're here at Helensburgh Central. I'll just walk out here and stand at the corner. Now up there is the Charles Rennie Mackintosh house, called the Hill House, if you're interested in Mackintosh architecture and furniture. And there's the river, or not the river, that's the sea. It's a sort of seaside town here. I'd come down here often, spend the day. So I'm back on the train here in Helensburgh, heading back to Glasgow. visiting an old family friend. It's raining, kind of miserable outside, but sit back and relax, and we'll see what we're looking at on the other side of the track on the way back to Glasgow. That's a branch line heading up to Helensburgh, at least High Helensburgh line, and that takes you to Oban.
Mind the gap when alighting from this train.
I think that's the River Leven.
This is Dunmuir. This train is for Edinburgh Waverley. The next stop is Hindland.
So the train's heading out to Waverley. That was a good day's trip down to the water, as they would say, which was something that we did as children. I think I told you that. Anyway, this is Hindland now. I have to find my way back to the flat. So I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, remember to give me the big thumbs up, and we'll catch you later at Partick Hill Station. Bye for now.